Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons 5e, and I'm going to talk about taverns, yes, but we're not going to talk about burning them down. I know that players like to have their characters burn down taverns, and I've heard that take place many times, so I thought this Dungeons and Dragons meme was appropriate. So today is the Lost Mine of Phandelver Dungeon Master Guide. Now that's for the Dungeons and Dragons 5e starter set. If you are a player in the game for Lost Mine of Phandelver, this is the wrong video for you, and you should go and watch some of my other videos because your Dungeon Master will be very annoyed if you watch this particular video. By all means, come back and watch it later on once you've played through the adventure, but right now is not a good time. This particular video is for the Dungeon Master and the Dungeon Master only. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Grista from the Sleeping Giant Tavern. Oh, it sounds exciting. I know a lot of people have been sort of wanting me to do something like this because if you look in the Lost Mine of Phandelver on page 18, you will find copious amounts of information. No, there isn't actually. There's very little on this particular character. In fact, there's like, is it 2 sentences? And so little information that you really, as a Dungeon Master, you are expected to do all of the work. So, for the last couple of hours and about the last week, I have been compiling everything I could possibly find and a few things I just had to make up because unfortunately there really isn't very much in the adventure. So from about now, I would say a handful of the stuff is stuff that's from the book, and the rest, Fred just made that shite up. Okay? Alright, here we go. So this is what we've got. We've got that Grista is a surly female dwarf. She owns the rundown tap house called the Sleeping Giant Tavern, and I will explain the name because I've come up with something that I think you will find satisfactory. The Sleeping Giant Tavern is a dirty, falling apart tap house, and it's really because Grista does not make enough money to repair any of the damage that is done by the patrons who cause damage during their drinking binges. Unfortunately, this is a common occurrence for her to have to deal with. Now, you will find the Sleeping Giant is to the east on the map on Phandalin, about sort of on the middle. It's sort of on the side to Stonehill Inn. I've already got a video on Stonehill Inn if you want to go and check that out, by all means, but not right now because we are talking about other things. Now, the reason this is taking place is because the Red Brand gang of bandits is using the tavern as their local hangout. This is where they hang out, they get into trouble, they get into fights, they cause damage, they break chairs, they drink her booze, and unfortunately, they don't often pay full price. In fact, it's quite rare that actually happens. As a result, the local Phandalin patrons have shifted their drinking habits over to the Stonehill Inn rather than going to the Sleeping Giant Tap House. Now, there was nothing wrong with the Sleeping Giant Tap House. It was actually quite a nice place to drink, but not with the red brands around, unfortunately. Grista is a tough dwarf. She can't, even though she's quite tough, she can't really do anything about the red brands in her tavern, and they really do whatever they want. There's really nobody who's actually keeping them in check, and that's really annoying Grista quite a lot. Grista is slowly going out of business, as really do the red brands pay full price, and sometimes they just take their booze for free, and there's not an awful lot that she can do about it. She hates the Red Brand gang and would love to see them 6 feet under or essentially dead. Yes, dead. I would imagine that's definitely high on her priorities. Dead would be good. Grista despises the snobby town master, Harbin Wester, for essentially doing nothing about the gang. And this gang is causing, out of everybody in town, she is the one who's suffering the most. And he's done nothing to sort that out. Even though Harbin Wester really doesn't have the resources to do so, that really Grista doesn't really care. She's just resentful that it's taking place, and she's the one who's copping most of the flack. She is resentful and jealous of the Stonehill Inn because it has essentially gained all of her better tavern drinking local patrons. That's where all her business, all her steady, regular, you can be counted on business has gone to the Stonehill Inn. Grista is generally quite bad-tempered and unfriendly with strangers, and this has sort of transposed itself onto the locals as well. Although she runs a tap house where, people talk and drink and chat and so forth, she's never been very good with people, even though she does run a tap house of this kind. As it happens, though, as a result of her troubles, things have improved for her. So Grista is generally finding that her relationship with the general population of Phandalin has actually improved due to the fact that her business is failing and all of her troubles with the Red Brand gang. People actually feel quite sorry for her, and as a result, it's actually improved her relationship with everybody else, even though it's at the expense of her business. Grista is a firm believer in Morden, and she's actually a hill dwarf rather than a mountain dwarf. So her background is a hill dwarf. She's lost her connection with her hill dwarf clan. Her full name is in fact Grista Craghaven, but no one actually knows her clan name in town because she doesn't tell anybody about this sort of information. She keeps it to herself. Very few people know anything personal about Grista, as she really has trouble trusting anyone whatsoever. One of the things that very few individuals know, but it's what has changed and formed the sleeping giant as a tavern, and that is Grista is a skilled masonry worker or stone worker. It's not uncommon for a dwarf, right? And she used her art and craft many years ago to craft or carve a sleeping stone giant statue from sandstone to be her key focus and her decoration for her tavern. It now sits, unfortunately, outside with a cover over it to keep the weather off it, and so that people don't know that it's there, and to avoid the Red Brands from damaging her work, because essentially that's what probably going to take place. If she left it out, it's going to get smashed or destroyed or defaced in some way, and she doesn't really want that to happen. So the Sleeping Giant Tavern is named after the statue that once graced this place. Grista is not married. She's not married. She has no children, and her parents have passed away. They are dead. They're no longer with us. So she's essentially alone. So Grista Craghaven is actually quite a brave and courageous individual. Her attitude in life is never to give up, and she's really tried hard to establish herself in Phandalin. Although she wouldn't admit it, that's exactly how it is for her. She would not admit that she is in fact very, very lonely beyond belief. And this is actually why she set up the tavern, so that she could meet new people and travellers as they were passing through Phandalin. Which seems a bit odd, because for somebody who doesn't actually interact well with others, you wouldn't think that would be the case. Now, a dwarven woman is much more likely to get past her grumpy defences. It is a defensive mechanism. She does find it difficult to trust people, but a dwarven woman could probably get past those defences if she was doing things right. Grista doesn't know anything significant about Gundren Rockseeker or his brothers or their mining operations, so if the player's characters start asking about Gundren Rockseeker, she really can't answer questions about that sort of thing. Now, if they start asking numerous questions, which chances are they may well do, she doesn't know anything about the Black Spider. She has heard the word spoken, the Black Spider, by the Red Brands, but she's not likely to openly state this to the player's characters. It would take quite a lot of work on a player's character's part to actually get that information out of her. But she does know that there is an individual called the Black Spider that the Red Brands have mentioned from time to time. She doesn't know anything more than that, unfortunately. What about somebody like Glassstaff? Well, as it happens, Glassstaff is a name she does know because the Red Brands that populate her tavern have talked about their leader, Glassstaff. She doesn't know his real name. She doesn't even know that Glassstaff is or isn't the real name of their leader. So it's also very unlikely that she will state openly in public that she knows anything about Glassstaff, but she is one of the individuals within Phandalin who is aware of an individual called Glassstaff, who is the leader of the Red Brands. She doesn't know the location of Cragmore Castle, so if they ask her that information, she couldn't pass it on, even if she was willing to do so. And as a general rule, she probably won't pass on any sort of information, even if they do ask general questions, just from fear of retaliation from the Red Brands. So she's not likely to help them. Now, if they get past her defences and you do well in terms of the process of building up a relationship between the players' characters and Grista, she can tell him a little bit about Agatha. She's aware of Agatha, where she is. She's been around a long time, so she does know a little bit about Agatha, but essentially it's just that, she's a banshee, she's been there a long time, and her general location. She would never actually go and visit Agatha, though. That's just not going to happen. Now, lastly, if the players' characters figure it out, the chances are that she would never ask for help from the players' characters. In fact, she would never ask for help generally unless it's from Harbin Wester or the other townsfolk. She's not going to ask for help openly because it would be too dangerous for her to do so. But if the players' characters were to eliminate or dispose of the Red Brands and their gang, they would gain a major ally from Grista. The chances are she would be quite happy for that to take place. She would welcome them in. She would certainly try a bit harder not to be quite so abrupt with them. And the chances are they may get a little bit of free alcohol as well, if that's what they're after. She really can't pay them to do anything about the Red Brands because she just does not have any money left. The Red Brands have been sucking her dry, and she can't just quit and pack up her business because the Red Brands won't let her do that. But if the players' characters do get themselves into a situation where they could actually help her by disposing of the Red Brands, she would be incredibly thankful. Okay, so that is everything that I could possibly come up with from the book, from the internet, on the Red Brands and Grista and her relationship with the sleeping giant. Now, if you found this video helpful or informative, please share and like the video. If you haven't subscribed and you like this sort of thing, I do this quite often and I have many more videos. So subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos. I have hundreds of other videos you can go and check out. So you've certainly supported me by watching this video, and I do thank you for doing so. But I have hundreds more videos for players and for dungeon masters, and I have a whole series on the Lost Mine of Phandelver as it happens. Many videos, and you're welcome to go and check them out as well. I don't do Patreon, but down in the description you'll find affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon, where you can buy stuff online. I get a small commission, you pay exactly the same price, and that helps support me to buy more stuff and keep doing this sort of thing. Now, if you have questions, feedback, if you want to add something, if you disagree with me, if you just want to say hi, that's what the live stream chat box is for, so use it. Start typing frantically now. If you're not part of the live chat, that's what the comment section's for. Thank you, YouTube. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.